Um, some big ones is like our Satter Clara, Hey from Sweden and everything. When she's unfortunately never played a whole lot her freshman year and everything because we had two great sophomore setters and everything, but she's been a great leader for us all year long. Then we have Una Stepic, who's in the top 10 in the nation in kills and also points and that. She's been a big contributor. She was a second-team All-Region player last year, so she's done a lot for us. Annika Cantrell already committed to play, at the next level and everything at Dakota State, and so that's going to be a big plus for her. Like I say, so she's one that really look forward to and everything. And one thing I found is that when she gets on and everything and jumping to the way she really can and everything, she's almost unstoppable and everything. Most teams have a hard time stopping her when she's on and everything. And the big thing is us getting her to really jump and that, so that's a big one. And then, of course, Anne-Marie Huntsman, another 2-year starter as another outside hitter, and that, like I say, last night she didn't have the best night, so she's looking to really rebound today. And like I say, she touches up there close to 10 foot, and so when she's jumping high and everything, when she's healthy and that, she gets up there and can go over a lot of the different blocks.
And just kind of run us through more on a kind of a personal note for today. Obviously, the disappointing loss last night, but how important of this is a game for you guys to win tonight?
This is almost like a must-win game for us if we want to be able to make it to the regional tournament. So even though a lot of coaches on sophomore night try to, start all sophomores or anything like that, we're still going with our main one, hopefully that we'll be able to get a good lead that we can play all the sophomores and everything. But we have some freshmen, like I say, that are, super talented and everything that we need to have on the court.
And just kind of looking forward to the rest of the season now, I guess, for you, would you regard every single game now as a kind of must-win just to try and get yourself into a better seeding, or do you think that, get through this game tonight and then possibly through the game against Northeastern on Monday night, and then that's pretty much job done then just try and nurse yourself through the two away
pretty
games.
much look at tonight and next Saturday is pretty much a must-win for us and everything. So we can't just kind of take anything for granted and everything. We have to get out there and play and really compete and everything. Casper, of course, they're hoping to clinch it against us and on Friday night, the conference championship. So that's going to be a big night for them. So hopefully we can be a spoiler there and everything. But then on Saturday, we're playing the team that's in 5th place. So so we really have to get after it. So like I say, so tonight and next Saturday are pretty much our must wins.
Perfect. Well, Coach, thank you very much. Have a lovely game.
Oh, thank you.
So that was Coach George Hamilton just giving his insight before the game. My name's Jamie Lambert. I will be your lead commentator for tonight. We should have a little bit of an interesting pre-match show, as per se. We're going to try and get some of the sophomores up here to talk about their time at EWC. But for right now, we're just going to cut to a quick break, and I will be joining you back here in a little while. Welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be running through your rosters very shortly. We're going to first start off with your Northwestern College women's volleyball roster, and they are as follows. Number 1, from Red Lodge, Montana, Trinity Frank. Number 2, from McCall, Idaho, Alexandra Arnold. Number 3, from McCall, Idaho, Shyla Arnold. Number 4, from Green River, Wyoming, Eva Murray. Number 5, from Dayton, Wyoming, McKinley Scammon. Number 6, from Warland, Wyoming, Eliana Baumstark. Number 7, from Basin, Wyoming, Vinaya Vanderplug. Number 8, from Idaho Falls, Idaho, Aiden Motorshaw. Number 9, from Three Forks, Montana, Natalie Hayder. Number 10, from Douglas, Wyoming, Landry Meeks. Number 11, from Elko, Nevada, Breakin Larson. Number 12, from Buffalo, Wyoming, Nevea Bell. Number 13, from Blackfoot, Idaho, Tennessee Carlson. Taylor Carlson. Number 14, from McCall, Idaho, Riley Arnold. And number 23, from Sheridan, Wyoming, Isabella Walton. And for your Lady Lancers, number 0, from Torrington, Wyoming, Olive Osmara. Number 2, from Sandy, Utah, Brinley Huff. Number 3, from Belgrade, Serbia, Vladimir Ristic. Number 4, from Evanston, Wyoming, Jaylee Critchfield. Number 5, from Walter, Wisconsin, Alison Waters. Number 6, from Borås, Sweden, Clara Hagenen. Number 7, from Lusk, Wyoming, Gracie Brennan. Number 9, Kruševac, Serbia, Una Stepic. Number 10, from Pavilion, Wyoming, Kylie Honstein. Number 11, from Warland, Wyoming, Addison Rowling. Number 12, from Bridgeport, Australia, Tessa Kilchenman. Number 13, from Campinas, Brazil, Ana Carolina Medeiros. Number 14, from St. Cloud, Florida, Alana Asante. Number 15, from Las Vegas, Nevada, Piper Halverson. Number 16, from Wrangley, Colorado, Annika Cantrell. Number 18, from Las Vegas, Nevada, Lola Hughes. Number 19, from Meriden, Wyoming, Savannah Kirkbride. Number 20, from Spanish Fork, Utah, Amory Huntsman. And rounding out for your Lady Lancers, number 23, from Pine Bluff, Wyoming, Rachel Macy. They are your rosters for tonight. We're looking forward to bringing you this game. Join us back in a moment where we're going to give you some pre-game stats. overall, looking at the stats, it looks like, especially on an attacking part, Lady Lancers perhaps being a little bit more clinical than their opposition tonight. 44 service aces for the Northwest Trappers. I think one of the things mainly to note, especially with the Lady Lancers in their 8 games that they've had, put through the statistics through, they have 66 service errors, whereas Northwestern only have 58. Really speaks to volumes as to maybe some of the weaker points that the Lady Lancers have experienced so far this year. Nevertheless, they will be trying to right some wrongs tonight as the Lady Lancers go off to get ready in the changing rooms. And we are set to have a fantastic game here tonight. Well, welcome everyone. It is great to have you here on this sophomore night. As the Lady Lancers coming out of the changing rooms in their all pink shirts. It's going to be their uniform for tonight. I'm Jamie Lambert. I'm really pleased to be presenting this night to you. Sophomore night, the gym being made look very pretty. And we've got the posters of the 9 sophomores that will be graduating here come the end of the year up by the bleachers on the far side. I know certainly that the production team here are really looking forward to giving you this game tonight, especially our producer Shamari Smith, once camera lady, now full-on producer, and she does a fantastic job if you're asking me. We've also got Adam Coxon on the courtside camera. And as ever, the fantastic Kristen Sampson, the person and the brains really behind all of this broadcast, and the one that I think puts the most effort into all of us. So thank you very much, Kristen, for helping out this primarily student-run program, which is a fantastic thing, and it's a good feat that we've managed to get up and running so far this season, and we're looking to keep this going for you spectators throughout, well, hopefully through the rest of time. But nevertheless, it's fantastic to have you here joining us in our coverage tonight, as we are about 7 minutes away from getting this game started and getting what will be the second to last home game of the season for your Lady Lancers. Otherwise, they will be on the road for the rest of the season. Not just the regional championship, but in fact the rest of their conference games will be on the road. The next home game that we have will be against Northeastern Junior College. That's on the 27th of October. starting at 6 p.m, and that will be the final home game for your Lady Lancers of the year. Then in terms of activities here at the Valpech Activity Centre, we are going to be looking ahead towards the basketball seasons, the men and women's basketball seasons. Obviously, as you all know, we've had Coach Tim Larson has been up here for one game, but we've also had Coach Bill Engel up here co-commentating with me, and naturally Northeastern will be his last game, because then he has his own priorities to deal with his men's basketball team. Fantastic, both of them, fantastic job they both do for these teams. And both teams will be starting out their season on Halloween, but they will be away at McCook as their first game of the season. For your Lady Lancers though, for the volleyball, away at Casper College and away at Gillette College are the two games.
Hi, my name is Boda Miludal.
That are away after we get done here against Northeastern. They travel to Casper College on the 31st on Halloween, the same time that the men's and women's basketball starts. So it's going to be a very busy night for Lancer fans. Maybe we need 2 or 3 screens up to watch all of the games, to watch the women's volleyball and the men's basketball. And the women's basketball, obviously. We're very much looking forward to bringing you some of the basketball coverage. As I said, Coach Bill Engel will have his hands tied with that one up with the men's basketball team. So we will be having, I believe, Patrick Carell, who is EWC alumni, and in fact is vice president right now of the college. So that's going to be fun, and we look forward to Patrick coming up here and being colour commentator for the team. But for right now though, we're just watching the Lady Lancers get warmed up as Northwest retreated back to their dressing room to get ready. There were definitely sparks yesterday of fantastic play by the Lady Lancers, but overall shadowed by the Lady Rustlers, and they did a very good job of dealing with the pressure when it came. I think EWC just struggled at times, certainly with things, and especially with the way that the Lady Rustlers were getting their game going. It was a difficult one, I think, for a lot of them to try and deal with. And there, Vladina Ristic just having a little go, killing the ball. I believe she will still be inactive for tonight. Still obviously recovering with stitches in her knee. But nevertheless, hopefully, I think from talking to Coach George Hamilton earlier, I think he's hoping that the regional tournament might be where she makes her return, which would be fantastic if that is the case. We are 3.5 minutes now before the start of the game. Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are just about a minute away from getting this game underway, and we will have the remarks from Coach Bill Engel introducing everyone to the game. My name's Jamie Lambert, and I'm going to be your lead commentator tonight. We will be having Coach Bill Engel come up here as per usual to come and give his insight. Welcome down here for sophomore night. It's a special night for the second years, who I know have given so much, and all of whom were a part of the special team that won the region last year. The team that did so much, and certain parts of that team were instrumental. Certainly for number 3, Vladan Aristic, Clara Hayhinen. We had Coach George Hamilton up here earlier, and he was saying about the fact that Clara didn't play much last year, but she did a really good job of kind of feeding into that leadership role for this year. And we are just about ready as we see a lot of people start going outside of the gymnasium there, and we're just going to get ready here for the sophomores to come walking in. And those are number 3, Vladan Aristic, number 6, Clara Hayhinen, number 9, Una Stepic, number 10, Kylie Honstein, number 11, Addison Rollins, number 16, Annika Cantrell, number 19, Savannah Kirkbride, number 20, Amory Huntsman, and number 23, Rachel Macy.
Playing sophomore night, we'd like to congratulate our sophomores on their careers for their dedication to the program and for everything they've done in Torrington. New start tonight with is Addison Rollins. Addison Rollins from Warland, Wyoming. Following Addison, Steve, Goodman, Tracy, Hildebrand, Jones, and Roosevelt Williams. Addison's most proud of conference regional volleyball champions last year. Her favorite memory when Savannah landed Amari and her took care of a kitten and named it Pumpkin. She plans to continue pursuing her psychology degree next year. Thank you again, Addison. Ladonna Bristol. She has the best home family, host family in the whole world, the nice waters, and a brother from another mother who should spend shopping. Her team is conference regional champions, BPK member, 499 digs in one season before her injury, and she also at one time led the nation in digs. Favorite memory, winning regionals last year, and walks to AJ with my friends, playing in the snow with her friends. I'll never forget the school because I have a permanent scar on my knee. She plans to continue playing volleyball and going to a four-year school to graduate with a business degree. Thank you, Ladonna. Mary Harmon from Morris, Sweden. She's escorted Ms. Michelle Pusha. First evening, champions 2024 by a member and 4.0 GPA. Favorite memory is jamming out Swedish music with the team in the locker room while getting ready for games. She looks forward to continuing her academic career in engineering and continuing to play volleyball. Clara, thank you for all of your work. Next, Annika Cantrell. From Colorado. Escorted Cantrell. Her team is 2025 Student Senate Vice President and Capital Member, 2025 Conference Champions and Region 9 Champions. Her favorite memory, late night trips to Penny's Diner with friends. Plans for next year are headed to go to State University to continue playing volleyball and earn her bachelor's degree in exercise science. And thank you for all your hard work. Savannah Kirkbride from Burns, Wyoming. Escorted by Jeff and Jamie Kirkbride, little brother Gabe Grayson Bennett. Achievements Regional Conference champs by a Kappa member. Favorite memories taken on lake with the girls watching movies and making memories. She looks forward to continuing her education. Thank you, Savannah. Riley Christie from Pavilion, Wyoming. Mother, Riley Perry, and father, Chris Lunstein. Favorite achievements, regional champs 2024, making it to the national tournament and academic awards. Favorite members celebrating birthdays with their teammates. Also when Bobby the slime ball exploded when Ricky aggressively hit Savannah in the back. I'm sure that was quite entertaining. Her plans for next year to attend Kearney, Nebraska to finish her secondary education degree. Riley, thank you for everything. Emery Huntsman from Spanish Fork, Utah. Escorted by Varsity Brian Huntsman. Achievements Conference Region Champions in 2024, going to the national tournament and academic awards. Your favorite members, winning the Region 9 tournament, going to the Denver Nuggets game, and going sledding. She looks forward to continuing her academic and athletic career. Anne-Marie, thank you for everything you've done here at Eastern Wyoming. Rachel Macy from Pine Bluff, Wyoming. Escorted by Krista and Fred Macy. Achievements Regional Champions in Volleyball in 2024 and academic awards. Her favorite memory is going sledding, going on adventures with her friends, and she looks forward to continuing her career and becoming an AI specialist. Thank you, Rachel, for everything you've done. And Una Stepic from Serbia, escorted by also a great family in Torrington, a nice smart family. And Bubishin Spazwojev. Achievement, second team all-region, all-tournament region team, second all-conference, academic team, and PTK member. Favorite memory, winning regionals in 2024 and going to the national tournament. She enjoys hanging out with her teammates, and Guy and her bestie, Boot. Her plans for next year is going to a four-year school and pursuing her academic and athletic career. Una, thank you for everything that you've done for Eastern Wyoming. Ladies, thank you so much for everything that you've done here and all of your great achievements. The National Junior College Athletic Association, Region 9, East Wyoming College, promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Negative comments, profanity, racist, sexist, or other abusive comments or actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, and team representatives will not be tolerated. Eastern Wyoming thanks you for your support and cooperation.
produced something that no women's volleyball team here has been able to do for the last 30 years. They brought home a region championship, and they will be a part of a steep history here at EWC for a long time. As we listen to the national anthem now.
Before we have to start the lineup, just a reminder, the EWC Booster Club is selling raffle tickets for a quarter of beef for $25. Let's see the beef market lately, a quarter of beef is worth roughly $700 to $900. And now the starting lineups first, visiting trappers. Number 2, Alexandria Arnold. Number 3, Shawa Arnold. Number 4, Eva Murray. Number 5, McKinley Scammon. Number 6, Eliana Officer. Number 8, Aiden Otashai. And number 14, Riley Arnold. Head coach, Nicole Park. Now, for hometown Lancers. Number 0, Olive Osmero. Number 6, Sarah Hannah. Number 9, William Steppage. Number 11, Madison Rollins. Number 14, Alabama Sunday. Number 16, Danica Cantrell. Number 20, Amber Huntsman. And number 23, Rachel Macy. And Mr. Coach, Mr. Jordan. Ladies, great match.
There we are. We also saw the Lady Lancers there throwing their balls out into the crowd. And I think a lot of laughs coming from that as well. So we're about ready to get going here, and the Lady Lancers here need a win. Absolute need a win. As we spoke to George Hamilton earlier, he stated about the fact that it was going to be an interesting test to see how the Lady Lancers would react to their loss last night. But nevertheless, it's a must-win in the grand scheme of the championship, the region championship, and obviously they're onwards trying to get to the nationals. And we are going to have Bill Engel joining us up here in a moment. But for right now, though, it is the Lady Lancers versus the Lady Trappers, and we are nearly ready to get going. I think the umpires are just having a little check over the sheets and seeing who's eligible to be in and who isn't. Well, currently on the court we can see that 5 out of the 6 players currently on court, never mind, all 6 of them are sophomores. Just to reiterate the starters for our EWC Lancers, we've got number 0, Olive Osmera, number 6, Clara Hagenen, number 9, Una Stepic, number 14, Alana Asante, number 16, Annika Cantrell, number 20, Amory Huntsman, and number 23, Rachel Macy. Here we go! As the first serve from Clara Hagen, and the set from the Trappers, blocked by Addison Rollins there in the middle. And the block there from Stepic just going out. And it is going to be first blood to the Lady Trappers. But overall, that was a good defensive display there from the Lady Lancers. Did very well to make sure that they got up in time, and perhaps just got a little bit unfortunate with where that ball ended up landing. The dig there from Rachel Macy caused all sorts of problems for Una Stepic. It's going to be a 2-0 lead for the Lady Trappers early on in this first set. And we now have Coach Bill Engel in the hot seat. Coach, how are you doing?
Doing excellent. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. As we have the set from Hagen here, and the hit down from Rollins, and it's a kill. And that's the first point on the board for the Lancers tonight.
Yeah, you know, big point. Get them going there. You know, get off the goose egg. You don't want to get down 3, 4, 5 to 0 there.
Coach, having a look at the stats pre-game, the Lady Lancers obviously 4 and 5 after their loss in the conference last night, but the Lady Trappers having a bit of a difficult season. They are 1 and 8 in the conference. How do you think that the Lady Lancers are going to try and really exploit them tonight?
You know, I don't know if there's a game plan. You know, I haven't been privy to that information as far as what they're looking for. What are they trying to go at? But, you know, certainly the biggest thing for them is just stay together, go point by point here. And what they want to do is solidify their spot there at 4th.
The Trappers doing well to get the ball set there to the outside hitter there, number 1, Trinity Frank. And that's a big hit down by the Trappers.
Yeah, let's just see if our girls can get back in system here, find a rhythm, and you know, battle back.
And that serve is long by Alexandria Arnold. And it's going to be a tied game here at 3-3. And Coach, so far early showings suggest that the Lady Lancers have been quite prominent at the net, but perhaps just got a little bit unlucky with some of those points, just some of those blocks going out of bounds.
You know, I think sometimes you end up in these Saturday afternoon games and you get a little blasé, and you know, you got to be able to have some leadership out there from the girls.
And the Trappers have done a fantastic job of keeping the ball up there. I thought for a moment that Cantrell was going to get her first kill of the game. The Trappers again kind of knocked out the system, and the reception there from Rachel Macy is just a little bit wayward, and it's going to give the point back to the Trappers. And I think that was an interesting point, that one.
You know, I think our girls have an advantage at the net, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to deal with that, and you know, set our girls and give them some opportunities to get some big hits here.
Certainly seemed like then the Lancers did a really good job of getting the Trappers out of system, and just perhaps didn't quite do enough to capitalise on the point. And just a reception error there from Emery Huntsman, and I think this is a situation where we just need to calm down and get ourselves back into system and make sure that we're controlling those controllables, as we were mentioning last night.
Yeah, I think it's just focus here. Just, you know, let's get our feet wet and get going. Sometimes in American football, as a running back, you just got to get hit a few times to wake up and shake the cobwebs and get focused. I think right now our girls got to be able to handle a few serves in the back row, and then we'll be okay.
Annika Cantrell and Clara Hagen in there being checked out for Brittany Huff and Alana Asante. There's Lola Hughes with the serve, and really a awkward reception there by the Trappers, and tried to put it in an awkward spot for the Lady Lancers, but Una Stepic was there on hand. The block by Alana Asante, and number 3 there, Shyla Arnold, will probably be a little bit regretful that she went for that, because I think that might have dropped on the wrong side of the line for the Lancers, but nevertheless it's a point and it's a tied game.
You know, I think that's the consistency we need to have at the net tonight. It just looks like we got a little more size, a little more athleticism right at the net.
And it's an awkward reception there again for the Trappers. They're going to have to do a very good job to get it back over the net, and they have done. The set from Hughes, just a little bit awkward there for Alana Asante, but time to reset. Huntsman! The block's gone out of bounds, and it is going to be a point for the Lancers.
Hopefully we just settle down, and you know, no matter what sport it is, those first few minutes, you know, you're just kind of trying to get to know what's going on. You know, kind of like a boxing match. It's kind of feeling each other out to get started.
The serve from Hughes is wayward. It is over the back of the court, and it gives the ball back. And I think, Coach, I've already counted 6 errors maybe on behalf of the Lancers in maybe 6 points.
hopefully that again we'll settle down here and get into a nice rhythm and be able to build a lead. But it takes one play at a time.
Precisely that. Una Stepic there with the dig. The set from Hughes. Huntsman straight into the blocker, and it did fall on the side of the Trappers' side of the net. And that's a good response there from that last point.
It was. The team's been going back and forth a little bit, and nobody's gone on a big run. It's just been 1 or 2 points here and there, back and forth.
Serve from Huntsman was dipping right at the end there, and it seemed to be a bit of an awkward reception. It's a good dig up by Huntsman. The set from Hughes. Huff. Not quite enough to get it past the blockers. It's a good set there by the Lady Trappers. Rachel Macy and Brindley Huff there just coming together, but the Lancers doing well to make sure that the ball stays in the air. The block there from Asante just staying on the tape a little bit, and that's good. That's good reading of the game there from the Trappers, just to kind of knock it over and just to get it a little bit too far out of reach for Asante there for the block.
For sure, it was great placement. I think they saw the blockers at the net and just tried to tip the ball over. It's something we need to be ready for.
Huntsman digs that well. The set from Hughes. The slam down by Stepic is blocked. The Trappers doing well to get it back over the net. Huntsman to Huff. Not quite enough to kill off the ball. And the tip there going out of bounds by Una Stepic.
Yeah, good rally there, back and forth, what you'd expect in collegiate volleyball, and we just came up on the short end of it a little bit.
Serve going to come in here from McKinley Scammon for the Lady Trappers. Huntsman received. The hit from Huff there to back court was well recepted. Trappers just need to get this back over the net, and they do. The set from Hughes. The hit down from Huff, and that's fantastic. That's a great kill for the Lady Lancers, and really there it was clear that Hughes had set that into the perfect place for Brittany Huff, and she took that advantage.
It looked like she had gone cross court the first 2 or 3 times, and then that time she went right down the line and had Northwest leaning the other direction.
And Asante with a good dipping serve there. The block from the block from Addison Rollins there, just going very high in the sky, and then I think Coach Hamilton feared for his life a little bit for a second because he saw 2 of his ladies just charging at him.
Yeah, it was a tough dig. That was a ball that went all the way to the ceiling, clipped the ceiling, came down awkwardly, and way over by our bench. Not a lot we could do with it.
Not a lot we could have done at all. The set from Hughes here to set Una Stepic, and it is blocked and kept up remarkably well by Lola Hughes, but in the end, really not a lot that the Lady Lance could have done there. It was just a fantastic block by Northwest.
Again, we need to show a little variety. We don't have a million heavy hitters up front, and you got to read the blockers of which direction you want to go with that.
And it is in. It's going to be the first ace of the evening, I think, for either team. Good serve there by Eva Murray, freshman out of Green River, Wyoming. And that's another ace, and that's 2 backcourt serves now that the Lady Lancers have conceded aces to, and George Hamilton's going to call a timeout here.
Yeah, a couple of really well-placed serves by Northwest. Our girls, I don't know, probably got to get their feet back a little bit further, be able to read the ball in front of them, and keep the ball in play. Like you said, we've got a few errors in the back row right now, trying to get the ball dug and passed.
I think one of the things really to note there is that that's pretty much the same serve twice that they've conceded consecutively. And kind of, coach, if you're seeing that as a coach from your perspective, seeing maybe, I don't know, 2 very easy layups given straight in a row, how are you kind of reacting to that, and what are you telling your team?
The first thing you do is you get upset, and the second thing you do is you got to get over it. And what is the adjustment? Getting upset only gets you so far. So I'm sure Coach Hamilton made the adjustment. He's probably going to set his girls back a little further just so they can make a better read on the ball.
In and out of this timeout relatively quickly. The message clear and simple from George Hamilton. Just focusing on getting our footing in this game. Lady Lancers losing at the moment 12-8. Still a long time to go in this set, and indeed a long time to go in this game. As the serve there, she's tried to do the same thing 3 times in a row, and fortunately that one for her has just gone a bit too far long.
You know, it looked like our girls were a little further back there, and Una made a great read on it, let the ball go, and easy point for us.
The scoreboard there showing 8-12. It is definitely 9-12. Pretty sure. Yeah, there you go. It's been changed now. He hit there and up to block well, but unfortunately just catching the wrong part of our arm, coach.
Yeah, they were in the right place, and it was not that it was a great spike, but it was well placed. And they get it on the outside of that block. It's going to go out of bounds every time.
Number 8, Aiden Motorshaw, a sophomore out of Idaho Falls. Up to serve. Strong hit there, and that really caught Una Stepic off guard. It's going to be a reception error for Stepic. It's a 14-9 lead for the Lady Trappers.
Yeah, kind of interesting strategy here from Northwest. They're going to go right at Una. Probably try to keep her from hitting the ball and make her receive.
Oh, and that one there is mildly lucky, I think. If the Lady Trappers said otherwise, I think they'd be trying to fool themselves. That was riding the tape for a long time.
It was, and again, you look at how we're set up and how most teams are set up to receive. It's really tough ball to get to when it catches that much tape.
And it definitely does look by the seemings of it, and Hayhinen doing a really good job there of getting back and setting that for Stepic just to hit it over, and that's out by the Lady Trappers. But kind of going back to what the serves are looking like, at least from the Lady Lancers point of view, we're looking like we're setting up very deep, and maybe something that Northwest can't do is something that we've seen a lot from the teams coming here recently, of that little floater just over the net.
Right, and maybe that's one of the strategies they'll go to as they see us backing up. It's for our girls right now, we've got to get the ball back across the net and make Northwest play it. It seems like we're making a lot of unforced errors, and we're not making Northwest really have to play.
That was kind of the same story with yesterday as well, Coach. We interviewed Coach Hamilton afterwards, as that's another reception error for Rachel Macy. But we talked to Coach Hamilton after the game yesterday, and he displayed a lot of dismay at the fact that we had 60 total errors. And when you're giving up, saying that you're giving up 1 point per error, you're giving up 60 points just through errors alone. Like, that's quite a hard one to then come back from.
No, absolutely true. And it'll be interesting to look at the stats from last night and say, if you took the second set out of it, how many errors would you have from there?
As the Lady Trappers opening up a 18-10 lead over the Lady Lancers here. Just a few points in succession in which the Lady Lancers were making a few mistakes, but then 1 point where they kind of seem to get everything perfect, and hopefully that's them right back on track.
And that's just the thing. Again, if we can handle their serves, if we can get the ball back over and make them play it, we've got the advantage. But if we can't handle the service, then it's going to be a long night for us.
Osmera checked in, and that is in, and that's maybe slightly awkward for the Lady Lancers, even though that was a fantastic serve by Osmera. And that set there just a little bit awkward for Huntsman, but she did well to get it back over the net. Now the Lady Lancers need to block this. Well recepted by Osmera.
Yeah, we just need to keep the ball in play. That should be our goal right now.
And Huntsman up to block, and Huntsman gets the point for the Lady Lancers, and that's 2 points in a row where they've played well and they've stayed in system and they've really looked like a team.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we just got to find some consistency with that.
Osmera serve going to backcourt, had the libero there backpedaling a little bit, and that was an awkward one for Osmera to try and get. It just kind of took a nick off the net, and just seemed like one to judge.
Yeah, I think our girls were planning on that ball going down the line, or expected it to go down the line, and she came cross court with it, and we just never got a piece of it.
19-12 in this first set so far. Stepic having to do everything they can, and Asante doing really well to kind of, I'm not sure she knew a whole ton about it, but she did really well to get it back over the net, and Asante there to try and kill the ball. The Trappers keeping it up in the air though. The set from Hayhinen, Amory Huntsman blocked. Back over the net, this needs to go, and Osmera does. Oh, and that's a miss hit there by number 11 from Northwestern, breaking Larson. And that's a good point for the Lancers to get.
Yeah, Northwest just hammered that first spike down, and Atlanta just had to turn. She didn't want to get drilled with it. It was coming so hard, she just turned her body, and the ball hit her shoulder and bounced back over the net.
One of those instances of, she definitely didn't know a lot about it, but she actually put it in a very tough spot for the Lady Trappers there. They got them all sorts out of system, and that's a good hit. That's a really good preempt by number 5 there, McKinley Scammon, and that's just one of those areas where just didn't quite have anyone to recept it.
Right, a little bit too much free space. I'm not sure where the girls were supposed to be, but we left that left corner wide open.
Serve coming in, certainly targeting Una. It certainly looks like by the way that they've been serving the ball so far, and the block there by Aidan Motorshaw denies Huntsman, and it's like 21-13 for the Lady Trappers in this first set.
Yeah, now the question is, can we just chip away?
Hughes to set. Huntsman's blocked, but it is the other side of the line, and it's going to be a point back for the Lancers.
You wonder how much of this is that it's Saturday afternoon, it's sophomore night. Our girls just need to regain some focus here.
Certainly a game on paper that I think Coach George Hamilton was looking at as a definite must-win, and it's not quite the start that they would have wanted to get off to, but if Northwest keep hitting the ball over the back like that, I'm sure that those points will keep coming.
Right. And this is, again, we need to allow Northwest to, make some mistakes. Just all we need to do is just keep the ball in play right now.
And that's one there that's been a little bit awkward for Northwest. The set coming in from Hughes. The hit from Huff. Dug up well by Alexandria Arnold. But it gives a chance for the Lancers to reset. Huff down with the kill. And it's now 21-16, and Coach... in fact, Coach Buck is taking a timeout there, and I think that was needed.
From Northwest standpoint, absolutely needed. Good time for it, and they're going to try to regroup and come out of this ATO. Hopefully our girls come out, serve well, and we can continue to break into this lead.
This will be a really nice test for the Lady Lancers. Can they come out of that timeout and really just keep the pressure on and keep, they're, I think, 3 back-to-back points there, and they've really made Northwest get out of system and feel a little bit awkward on the court. So can they just come out of this timeout and do exactly the same as they've been doing, or will that timeout really disrupt their flow?
Yeah, we're going to find out here in a second, and our girls hopefully will stick together and just continue to mesh.
Must admit, being from England, it's one of the things that's unusual about the sports over here is timeouts. I mean, we don't really have a whole lot of sports back at home where timeouts are a thing. Obviously basketball's not as big at home as it is over here. Obviously you've got Adam Coxon obviously on your team this year from England, Ria Saga on the the women's basketball team, but yeah, timeouts seem to really disrupt the game, and it's something that's been really interesting to see from an international point of view.
Certainly creates a different dynamic in the game, and gives coaches a chance to sort of control the action a little bit.
Yeah, certainly, and it looks like it can be very much, as you say, kind of very well timed and very well or strategically placed in terms of when you take that time out to disrupt flow or to maybe build on some momentum that you've been gaining. That's a very interesting thing to see from my point of view. As Osmara digs that ball, set from Hughes, just a little bit awkward there for Stepich, but she does really well considering, and that's just going to get Northwest out of system. Set from Hughes, hit down by Asante, not quite hard enough, I don't think, to get it past the block. And the reception there just awkward for Hughes, and it's going to be another point for the Lady Trappers, 23-16.
Yeah, we're just going to have to continue to do a little bit better job with the net, get a piece of it, slow the ball down for our back row.
The serve coming in from Scammon for the Lady Trappers, and that's a good dig by Stepich, who hits down, and that is out. And it's going to be... I don't know what's happened there, because there's been a point given to the Lancers on the leaderboard.
It looks like we've got a tip.
Oh, a tip on the Lady Trappers, I see. Okay.
Yeah, called by the up official, so she's going to have the best view of it.
Yeah, for sure. And certainly fooled, I think, everyone else. I was certainly looking at the line judge, who obviously gave that as an out. Nevertheless, it's 23-17 to the Lady Trappers. That's a good dig there by Asante. The hit down from Stepic. Not quite enough for the kill. And that one there was just absolutely pummeled towards Amory Huntsman, and there's not a lot more she could have done.
Well, it's one of those things, you have to be really quick on your feet, have quick hands, but it helps so much if you get a hand on the ball at the net. If we get something from our blockers, it's just an easier dig for the girls.
1 point from the set win for the Lady Trappers. The Lady Lancers need to be careful, and they, in fact, capitalise on that opportunity. So, coach, that first set, the Lady Lancers fall 25-17.
Yeah, we're going to have to come back and regroup. They shouldn't worry too much about the standings. We've talked about it a lot. They have a one-game lead, holding on to fourth place, and I believe the way volleyball works, they're going to need to stay in fourth place to make the region tournament. So, we are right on the edge of it. We're going to end up battling for that spot now with Gillette. Gillette's fifth. We're one game ahead of them. It looks like Gillette's probably got a pretty winnable game today, and as do we, and that would keep us with a one-game lead. And we still have to go to Gillette to play. So, our girls know what is at stake, but they don't want to get so amped up and worrying about where they are in the region that they forget to play today's game.
And certainly talking to Coach Hamilton, I don't think he was too concerned about how the Lady Lancers were going to shape up, because he was talking to me about the region championship, and he was saying about the fact it's a double elimination, so as soon as you lose 2 games you're out, and he was very relaxed about that, and he was like, even if we then lose the first seeded game, we then go and play another team, and based off of what they've done as well, so I believe it's 2 losing teams will then end up playing each other.
Sure.
So he was very much optimistic about that, and was wary that yes, okay, it might not exactly work in that first game, but it's not something to worry about.
Yeah, and that's I'm sure that's a message he's sending to the girls right now. It's just, let's focus on the next game, the next point, the next serve, and let's do a little bit better job returning serves right now. Yeah,
and it's just been a story of reception errors for the Lady Lancers. 7 reception errors in that first set has very much hurt the scorings there for the Lady Lancers, but it's a chance for them to regain and come back, and I think that's if my maths are correct, I think that's 12 errors in that first set by the Lady Lancers.
And it looks like Northwest did not have any reception errors, and that's one of the things that that's going to help you win and lose games right there, is that our girls are going to have to rectify that and just do a little bit better receiving.
Nevertheless, and to be fair, Northwest's hit percentage in that first set was 0.24, which is a very high. I don't know a ton about volleyball, but I do also know the fact that 0.24 is a fairly high hit percentage, so that's good from their point of view. And Eastern Wyoming at 0.14.
Yeah, and if you look at the reception, you can look at Northwest had 0 reception errors, and we had 7 reception errors, so they finish with a percentage of essentially 1,000, and we end up at 2/3 or 0.66 there. So one of those things that we definitely need to improve on, and I think if we improve on that, we have a really good chance here in the second set, and we'll move from there.
And one of the standouts there, just to kind of touch on it, is Aidan Motorshaw, 8 points in that first set for her individual ranking, and that's fantastic. That's a very good first set by the Lady Trappers, and seeing a lot of their games recently, I think they'll be happy with that. They've come off the back of 4 3-0 losses, so to kind of win one set will be a good thing for them. But for the Lady Lancers, it's just about the bounce back. It's about how are you going to take that first set loss, and are you then going to sit down and take some more losses, or are you going to come back and fight?
Again, like we talked about last night, got to show a little bit of moxie here.
As the second set underway, seemed like a bit of an awkward reception there by Una Stepic, and that is going to be Lady Trappers' first blood in this second set. It certainly looks like Una Stepic is having a difficult time with recepting some of these serves. I mean, they look like they are being hit very hard and very targeted towards Una Stepic.
Yeah, it looks like they're very intentional with what they're trying to do with their servicing right now.
That's an ace there. Just a whole bunch of dip on that ball at the end of its journey, and it really caught Huntsman off guard.
And Northwest is doing a good job with service. You know, putting it in different spots. We play up, they played a little further back. We play back, they played a little further short.
That's a dig by Huntsman, the set by Hughes, and it's caused some issues for the Lady Trappers. Chance maybe for the Lancers to take advantage of an out system. Lady Trapper side. And that's out by number 11 on this near side, Breaking Larson. Just not quite being able to get perhaps over the ball enough for what she wanted.
Yeah, it looks like she tried to go cross court and just went a little bit too strong with it.
Serve coming in from Huntsman. And that set there was really straight on top of number 6 for the Lady Trappers. That's an in ball as well, and must say that block from the Lady Lancers then was very good to get that back over and cause some issues for the Lady Trappers, but they also seem to take advantage of being uncomfortable.
You know, it was an impressive block, and you know, again, just consistency on our part.
Straight into the net there by number 2, Alexandria Arnold. And Lana Asante up to serve for the Lady Lancers, who gets a real dip on that serve, and it's caused some issues for the Lady Trappers. Let's see if Stepic can hit this down, and hits it straight into the block, and it's going to be another point for the Lady Trappers.
Yeah, good hit. She hit it clean for sure, and Northwest did a good job being at the net there.
See Savannah Kirkbride on this near side, checking into the game. And that is out by the libero, number 3, Shyla Arnold.
Yeah, ball just floated a little bit on her. She hit that knuckleball, and our girls did a good job judging it. And now we're only down 1, and just got to maintain our wits. Got to have some leadership out there. We need someone to be a binder for us.
Hagen serve, dug up by Northwest, and the hit there is just a bit awkward. And Clara Hagen take a bow. That's a fantastic recovery from Lola Hughes' dig. Giving us, there's one giving us out, one giving us in, and the point ended up being given to the Lancers there. It looked out from our perspective, certainly from my perspective up here.
Well, I think it was certainly out, and the question was, did Clara get a finger on it? You know, she reached out and then pulled her hand back, and I don't think anybody was quite sure if she ever just nipped it.
And Clara Hagen in there, just sneaking it over the net and catching a bit of tape and really taking some of the venom out of that serve, and all of a sudden the Lady Lancers taking a 5-4 lead.
Yeah, nice to see one of those break our way where it catches the tape and just falls over.
Certainly seems like one of those we have not seen a lot from the Lady Lancers in terms of those kind of serves going our way. They always seem to be the one that scored against us. But the tip there going out.
Yeah, a little bit of us, you know, kind of reaching for a ball that we couldn't get, and you know, you kind of got to read the ball where it's going to fall, and you know, sometimes you can't get everything that's high, and you got to figure out where it's going to land and end up there.
14. Riley Arnold to serve for the Trappers. And that's a fantastic hit down by Annika Cantrell. And immediately after losing that point, the Lady Lancers just get it straight back.
Yeah, good to see them come back out of that. And again, not trying to go to where the ball was, trying to go to where the ball is going to be.
Stevic to serve. Hard to back left court. This is just going to have to be a get it over the net job by the Trappers. Huntsman! Fantastic hit down, and that's going to be another point for the Lancers. 7-5 here. And that was a really good point for the Lancers. I think just always looked in system and really put Northwest to the test.
Yeah, you know, it looks like it's just a matter of our girls starting to settle down a little bit.
Oh, and that's a bit of an awkward one again for Northwest. Set from Aiken and Cantrell! And again, that's 2 points in a row there where the Lady Lancers have stayed in system, made it awkward for Northwest, and all of a sudden they've looked so comfortable. And yeah, Coach Buck taking that time out.
You know, that was that situation we brought both hitters down the middle and, you know, fake it to one of them as a deke, and then went to Annika with it, and she just did a great job. Looked like Northwest was confused by that motion.
Well, certainly at the start of this second set, it's been looking a lot more promising, and I think as long as the Lady Lancers can keep themselves as much in system as they possibly can, they've shown that they are very much able to dominate the Lady Trappers here.
Yeah, we certainly have the ability, and again, I really feel like we need some leadership out there consistently from one or two girls, or call it a binder, if you will, some girl that's going to really hold us together, not let us fail, that type of thing. And whether you own a business or it's an athletic team or whatever, you just need those type of people in your system.
And one of the really reassuring things, Coach, looking at this roster sheet for the Lady Lancers here, 19 girls, we've obviously got our 9 sophomores, but 10 freshmen, and I think that's going to be a really important part for next year, and certainly looking at leaders as to who can lead this team forward, and hopefully Olive Osmer can really settle into that libero role, and Brittany Huff and Alana Asante as a partnership is formidable. I mean, we've seen that so much already this year in terms of their ability to be a partnership, and 10 freshmen, I think, is one of those that maybe after the sophomores leave this year, it will be slightly easier maybe for the freshmen to kind of identify who should be the leaders and who's really going to take this team forward.
Yeah, that's really important. We're probably going to need someone like Olive to step forward and really take charge of things, after the season, as the girls move into the spring and their workouts in the spring, and really get everyone on the right page.
And that's kind of one of the big things I kind of noticed last year from losing Bowden Liljedahl. She was an instrumental part in that region-winning team. And Vladina had a very tough job to kind of come in and really to replicate what Bowden was doing. But I think she has been doing a fantastic job with that. Obviously in and out of the team last year. But it's going to be that thing again of can someone really own up to or make themselves the new Vladina Ristic?
Right. Going from Bowden to Ladanya and Olive, and you're always looking for stability there. And basketball would be that point guard position, and baseball sometimes it's the shortstop, center fielder. A lot of times it's the catcher, but one or two guys that can really hold your team together.
Savage up here to serve. A couple of really important points there for the Lancers, just catching Northwest off guard. Tip there, and that's a good dig up by Hayhinen. The hit by Cantrell and just mistimed a little bit and into the net.
I think that's just recognition on for our girls. If the set's a little bit further from the net and you can't really pull the hammer, then go somewhere else with it. Just keep it in play. Just make them play the ball right now.
Serve coming in from Northwest. The set from Hayhinen. A little bit too far for Kirkbride, but she did really well nevertheless. Northwest a little bit out of system and just catching the tape, and again Coach just kind of getting those unlucky breaks at times.
They were able to get somewhat back in system, almost like a little slide, and then she went across the court with it, and we were all leaning the other direction, and they just dropped it in.
It's going to be Scammon to serve for the Lady Trappers. Dug up well by Stepic. Huntsman! Hit down. And that was fantastic there. And again, just really staying in system, and Hayhinen setting it on a plate for Huntsman, and she just absolutely slammed it into the ground.
Yeah, perfect time, and again, a little misdirection on the other side of the court, and you kind of got Northwest guessing. And it doesn't take much. If they're a second late, half a second late, just gives our hitters a little bit of time to hit it clean.
Osmo really making that awkward for her counterpart, and that hit is out by the Northwest. I was going to say the libero number 3 there, Sheila Arnold, really looked like that was a difficult one to get.
Sometimes if you're indecisive, it kind of eats you up. It's should I let it go, should I not? Then by the time they make a decision, it gets a little deep into their body.
Another good serve there, and that's an awkward set, and it's going to be another point for the Lancers. And this is maybe one of those instances of Northwest just making a few more mistakes than we saw maybe in that first set, and just allowing them to make that mistakes, as you said, and just keeping the ball in play.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we just keep doing it right now. Olive's doing a great job serving.
It must be said, Osmera's serves so far tonight have been fantastic. It's one of those things that I think she didn't do so well last night, but is doing a really good job of tonight, and really forcing Northwest to pull out some remarkable points and trying to stay in system, but they just can't. And really now that shows in the fact that the Lady Lancers have opened up a 14-7 lead, as Osmer again Serving to that libero and denied by Asante. 15-7 lead, and all of a sudden the Lady Lancers looking so much more comfortable.
Yeah, you know, good serve, and Northwest struggles to get a return, and we're right at the net where we should be.
Osmo to serve again. Oh, and that's unlucky there. It just looked like when she threw that up, it looked like she had just thrown it a little bit behind herself and kind of made it a little bit awkward for that serve. But after 4 or 5 serves that have been very good towards backcourt, I think the one in the net is absolutely fine.
No, absolutely. You know, if she makes 4 really good ones, we get points on, and one that we don't, we're still +3. So
what a set there by Clara Hagenen as well to get it straight back over her head on a plate for Annika Cantrell, and she slammed it down.
yeah, good to see from Clara. Put the ball right on the money for the girls. You know, just like an assist in basketball, you know, you love to see that when people are putting the ball on time on the money.
It must be said, Vladina Ristic again being that vocal point for the team. Just talking to Lola Hughes there before she served, unfortunately just going into the net there.
Yeah, good to see LaDanya back in uniform, and not sure if we're going to see her tonight or not, but she's certainly out there in spirit.
Certainly from talking to her last night, I'm not sure she's going to be making a reappearance until the regional championship, just to give her some time to make sure that knee fully recovers.
Yeah, you know, she had a pretty nasty cut, 11 stitches, really split it open. I think she just got her stitches out last night, so I can't imagine we want to throw her back out there and have that open up again.
Just a couple of instances here where the Lady Lancers have been caught out of system, and the Lady Trappers starting to make a little bit of a comeback, but it's one of those of just try and quash that as soon as you can.
You know, we got to be able to return a serve here. That's the biggest thing. Just get the ball back in play.
Just a couple of really tricky serves here for the Lady Lancers to deal with. I mean, a few there where it just looks like really extended out fully for the Lady Lancers and just not really been able to control it quite how they wanted to.
No, I mean, it looked like we were going to run away with things, and maybe our girls started to rest a little bit. You know, it's a situation where we need to get back on our toes and get the ball in play. Again, we're just kind of getting eaten up by some of these serves.
And that's a good read of the game there by Huff, just to knock it over. A chance maybe for the Lady Lancers. Huntsman hits it down and in. And it's going to be a kill, and that's, I think, was very much needed on the Lady Lancers' part. I think that very quickly could have turned into something a little bit more drastic.
You know, I got to imagine if we lose that point, we're all of a sudden only up by 3, and Coach Hamilton would have to take a timeout. I mean, as this is, now we're up 5 and in a little bit different situation.
Number 8 there, Ada Motorshaw being called over by the referee just to come back, and she was trying to retrieve the ball. Seemed like she was nearly being told off by going and getting that ball, but nevertheless. And the hit down is really well recovered by Lola Hughes, and that's a really good read by Una Stepic just to take advantage of an out of system northwest side and hitting the region banner as it sails out, and that's going to be another point for the Lancers. And I must say, we really need to credit that read by Una Stepic.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, she kind of read the flow of the game and just pushed it to the back corner, and it was really tough return.
Just over the back of the court there by Amory Huntsman.
But, you know, here we go again, 18-13. Only 2 points to get to 20, and I think every game you and I have done together, the team that got to 21st did win the game.
Lola Hughes setting that well, and Asante really reaching for that just to get it back over. And the block there just taking it out by Una Stepic. And it's going to be 18-14 in favour of your Lady Lancers. Yeah, certainly I've just seen Vladina run into the changing rooms there. And certainly seeing her movement on that knee, it still doesn't quite look as smooth as perhaps it was.
Now she looks like she's moving a little gingerly right now.
Huntsman doing well to dig. Half reading the block well. And the set's going to come in from Huntsman. The hit from Stepic. Takes a nick off of Stepic.
Yeah, you know, everything went well. She hit it well. They blocked it. It was going to go out of bounds, but from her angle, she was already out of bounds, and the ball came back and hit her before she could get out of the way. But 18-15 here again. You know, can we break their little cycle here, get us to 19-15.
Alexandria Arnold to serve for the Lady Trappers. Dug up by Osmer. Huff to hit. And that's a good... Well, it was a good dig, I feel, by Aidan Motorshaw, just maybe catching the wrong part of her arm. But nevertheless, it's going to be a point for the Lancers within one of that golden 20.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, just be consistent here. You know, if you run a marathon, it's just one step at a time.
Serve from Asante. Looked like Northwest were getting in each other's way then. Maybe a chance for the Lady Lancers. Stepic just knocking it over, and she manages to get the kill. 20-15 for the Lady Lancers, and I think Stepic there just reading the game very well and doing everything she could just to try and get that back into the northwestern half.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a very intelligent young lady, and for her to be able to play the ball the way she did and just slide it in between the block, just very heady play.
Awkward dig there for the libero for Northwest. Stepic to hit, and it's going to fall out that block, and that is going to be another point for the Lancers. Timeout called here by Coach Buck.
You know, another big play by Una. She just had the exact same play where they set her. She's out of bounds. She hits it. The ball comes back, and she was just able to get out of the way this time. The ball falls out of bounds. We get a point, 21-15, and now let's just see if we can close it out.
Well, certainly in this set, it's looked like the Lady Lancers have been far more comfortable. It certainly looks like they've been far more comfortable than Northwest. Northwest just being caught out of system on a few occasions, and I think combination of that and the Lady Lancers just staying in system more, it's just spelled a lot better for the Lady Lancers so far.
It does. It'll be interesting to see the stats if this continues to go this way. It just seems like our receiving percentage is going to be much higher in this set.
Both teams back on court very quickly, and I must admit, a lot of the games that we've covered so far this season, the teams have been very quick out of the 75-second timeouts that they do get.
Sometimes as a coach, you only have so much to say. So, you can say it pretty quickly, tell them what to do, and just move on. The worst thing you can do as a coach is sit back there and try to make something up.
Yeah, great serve there by Alana Asante, causing some issues for Northwest and causing a bit of a pinball.
Yeah, and hopefully she can continue to do this. She's been pretty consistent. She's a good server, a lot of velocity when she hits the ball.
Alana Asante there, still causing some issues for the Lady Trappers to Brindley Huff, and that's a good reception there by the libero for Northwest. Arnold doing well to receive that ball, and net violation I think they're called on the Lady Lancers.
Yeah, it looks like we got a little too close to the net. I'm not sure we were going to get that point anyway. It seemed like we were out of system too much.
Nevertheless, 22-16 is the score, and it's just a chance for the Lady Lancers just to get themselves back on the board and get the ball back. And, well, I mean, if Shiloh Arnold, the libero, will put it in the net, that's going to be a very easy way for the Lady Lancers to make their points back tonight.
Yeah, they just got to continue just moving forward, doing the easy things here. Keep your servers in play, make Northwest play the ball, and not make it any more difficult than that.
Clara Hagen to serve. Serve into centre court. The set there by Northwest, a bit of an awkward hit. Clara doing well to get it to Annika Cantrell, who just takes it over, and Northwest doing too much to get in each other's way, and it's going to put Lancers within 1 point of the set.
Yeah, absolutely. Good serve by Clara to get it started, and let's see if she can finish this off.
One of those, if I don't feel like the Lady Lancers put Northwest in that position, but I think Northwest put themselves in a position where they were out of system.
Oh, absolutely.
And the set there, doing really well to get that back to where it was, and Osmera digs it up. Hagen to Stepic, blocked, and Osmera, not a lot more that she could have done to try and keep that back in play. And
no, Northwest did a good job at the net and just getting in her way, and she hit the ball right into the block.
Number 7 there, I could see Van der Pleg for the Trappers doing a little bit of a golf celebration there, I think. Can admire that. Not Stepic to serve, Hagen to serve. The hit down was dug up well by Northwest, and Olive Osmera there just not quite being able to get it off the ground.
No, it was a tough play. She had to dive forward, did everything she could, get her hands underneath it, and just missed it. But 24-18, we've got set point here several times, and girls need to not look at the scoreboard and just play the ball.
Serve coming in from Riley Arnold. The set this time from Cantrell. The hit over from Savannah Kirkbride, and they just need to get back into system. Kept up really well. And I'll tell you what, Clara Hayenan again doing really well to keep that ball still in play for the Lady Lancers. Maybe a chance now for Hayenan to Cantrell, and that's going to be the set.
Yeah, that's great to see. Really nice play for them. They stayed in system, got Annika the ball, and she's able to go down the line with it to finish off the set.
It was great to see because they got them they were out of system for a while in that point, and kind of just saw a little bit of a clink in the armour of Northwest and managed to get themselves back into system and really made them pay for it.
Yeah, and again, you look over the bench, our girls are smiling, happy. They just, again, you got to find that binding factor on your team. Who's going to hold your team together? I got to imagine whether it's golf, basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey, tennis, whatever you want to throw at you. If you've got a team, you got to have, a couple of personalities in there that will help hold everyone together. They don't have to be always fun and bubbly. Sometimes they can be a little cantankerous even at times, but they hold people accountable and keep everybody on the same page.
And it's going to be one set apiece for the Lady Dancers and the Lady Trappers here. And I think that was a good bounce back after the first set.
No, absolutely. And we do have a special announcement here that the Eastern Wyoming Booster Club is auctioning off a quarter of processed beef, and that'll be raffled off February 5th between the men's and women's basketball games. And if you don't know, a quarter of beef is probably about 100 pounds, and if you look at the beef market these days, that's upward of $700 or $800. So for $25, you can buy a raffle ticket to possibly win $700 to $800 worth of processed beef. So stop by the college, give us a call, and our booster club, our marketing department, our athletic department, we will set you up with a raffle ticket or as many raffle tickets as you would like.
I mean, that's a damn good deal, and I think it's one that I think everyone should try and get in on and really take advantage of. So, Coach, looking at this, looking at the stats now from that second set, and this time only making 3 reception errors for the Lady Lancers in that second set, and I think that's really kind of spelled out the difference of that set for us.
It is. I think it's huge for us and something we just need to continue to do. Have great receiving, handle the serves, keep the ball in play, and give ourselves a chance at the net. It looks like we do have an advantage, just need to play consistently right now.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, especially looking at Northwestern's statistics as well, in that set they had 7 attacking errors, which is, I mean, more than, it's about 140% more than they had, I think, in that first set. I really tried to do the maths there. But yeah, just overall, just kind of looking a little bit more messy on the side of Northwest, and certainly, those 2 reception errors that they didn't have last time, they had 3 more service errors and 4 more setting errors as well.
Yeah, and again, I think that, and some of that is just, it's self-imposed by Northwest. The other part of it is us just keeping the ball in play a little bit more, and that's got to be our goal. It sounds so simple, but simple often isn't easy, and just keep the ball in play. Don't try to do too much. It's what they say about the extraordinary player. The extraordinary player is the player that makes the ordinary play every time, and I think that's really what our girls need to do right now.
Oh, Aidan Motorshaw, number 8 for the Northwest, going to give her a shout out because she's currently on for a very good game. She's got 12 points for herself, and currently the best performer for Eastern Wyoming, Anne-Marie Huntsman, which I think I could get behind. So it's been a name that we've been saying a lot so far.
Yeah, and you just want to continue to see Anne-Marie and Una and Annika at the net, really continue to be a force.
So we're going to get this third set underway here, and Savannah Kirkbride checked out of the game, and Olive Osmera is back in. As Lola Hughes is going to be the first serve of this set. A floater to back court there. Set by Northwest, and that's too long to go cross court, and it's going to be first blood for the Lady Lancers. I think that's something that we've not said at least since the game against, was it Western Wyoming, I think you covered when I was away?
I think you're correct, because we were down. We've been down 2-0 in the first 2 games here, so good to see us take a lead here, 2-0. We don't have to battle back. We just need to continue to be consistent. And now you see it with Northwest having a little trouble with receiving.
Hughes to serve here. Serve to centre court there, and Northwest just wanting to get this back over, and Lola Hughes now the set for Alana Asante, and I must say that was a really good read, but maybe just not quite the execution.
You know, it was the right spot. She has an open spot there. She could have just pushed it too. She pushed it a little bit too hard, and it was over the line. Coach Buck giving signals there to her server.
Motta Shaw is the one who served, and that block very ferociously down past Annika Cantrell. I meant Amory Huntsman, and Olive Osmer did a really good job of receiving that. And there, Brittany Huff getting blocked, but the block going out of bounds.
Yeah, it looked like Brindley really, was in a good spot. You could just tell she felt good about the hit right away, and sometimes it gets blocked. You wonder how the girls feel, but it goes out of bounds, and they know they did the right thing.
Just touched over, looked out from our perspective, and it has been given out by the line judge.
Yeah, important for us to build a lead, and you're playing against a team in Northwest who seems to be a well-coached team, and the girls are playing hard. But when they haven't had a lot of success, if you can get a team down, they tend to not know how to come back from it.
Huntsman kind of serving directly on that line there, far side, and that hit's just long, and it definitely kind of goes back to what you're saying, Coach, of I think here we're just seeing a little bit of a loss of composure by the Lady Trappers. Just some hits just going a little bit too far long. I mean, I think that's 3 so far in this set already.
Any team that hasn't had a great season, it's always hard to come back from. And sometimes when do they get into that woe is me, or when do they get into that here we go again type thing?
It was one of those of, I think the Emery Huntsman did really well to dig that up, and just no one seemed to be there to kind of get that second ball.
A little bit of miscommunication for our girls. I mean, we did have a good dig, and someone's got to go get it and set it.
Steppage, that is given us out by the line judge. Wasn't sure whether it was tipped, but the decision has been given the way of the Lady Trappers.
Yeah, it seems to be the right call. Didn't look like there was a tip.
Olive Osmer there, not quite being able to get it back up off the ground. And all of a sudden, this set is now 5-4.
Yep, that's a tough read, good serve, got to move on.
Serve coming in from the Lady Trappers, dug up by Steppich. Set for Brittany Huff towards back court. Walls recepted by the Lady Trappers. And there, a bit of miscommunication there from the Lady Trappers, and Olive Osmer doing well to keep that up in the air, and at the end it was a good point for the Lancers.
A little confusion on our part, but our girls managed to communicate, get through it. I think Brindley just touched the ball over the net, and that's all we need to do, just keep the ball in play.
Powerful serve by Asante there to really cause some issues for their libero. Brittany Huff getting a hand to it. Amory Huntsman doing really well to keep that in play. Giving it in, and it's a good point for the Lancers to win. I think they're just a little bit of a misjudge by the Lady Trappers, and it's gifted a point away to the Lancers where they could have been out of system.
You could not have placed that ball on the end line any better.
Anna Asante there just getting a little bit wayward with the serve. Gives the ball straight back to the Trappers. 7-5 here in this third set for the Lady Lancers, and good determination on show.
Up 2 points here, kind of in the middle of the set, first third of the set anyway, and just got to continue at it.
Hughes with a set. Slammed down by Kirkbride, was received. The block from Huff causing some problems for Northwest, and then a block by, I think, a combined of Una Stepic and Savannah Kirkbride there.
When you get a team on your heels like that, they're a little bit out of system, the sets aren't perfect, a little better chance at the net because they're not just bringing the hammer, they got to try to hit it fairly hard or spike it from a little bit further away.
Heikkinen is going to be up to serve for the Lady Lancers. Sophomore out of Bordas, Sweden. It's another ace for Clara Heikkinen.
A little floater again, just falls in front of the back row, and Northwest didn't react real quick to it.
It's the second ace of the night. She's been serving the ball remarkably well. Serve coming in from Heikkinen again. Certainly had number 12 for Northwest scrapping at it, and Annika Cantrell doing well to get her hands firmly on that ball and killing the ball off on Northwest side.
You know, it was a great job. They didn't just get up there to block it. They realized the ball was going to end up on our side, and they just redirected it to back to the middle of the court where there was no trappers.
10-5 as Heikkinen serve. That dig is just really causing some problems for Northwest, and that's a good hit from there. Stepic did well to interpret what was going on there, and those blockers went up early, and she realised all she needed to do really was just get that into the side of the arm of the blocker.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. You know, Una showed a lot of intelligence there. She didn't try to bring the hammer. She just tipped the ball, and it just looked like she knew exactly what she was going to do. She was going to tip it right off the outside of the block, and it would go out of bounds, and we'd get the point.
Well, so far, Coach, I think the last two sets have been a really good showing by the Lady Lancers, and has been a really good reaction to that first set. Obviously, nowhere near what they would have wanted, but nevertheless, this last two sets rather have been very positive.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. You just got to overcome those first mistakes. For whatever reason, you know, you're out of system and out of sorts, and you know, trying to get over the whole maybe the initial sophomore night type thing and move forward.
Clara Heikkinen is going to get this third set resumed after that timeout called by Coach Buck. And a good dig there from Stepic, just head over, and I'll tell you what, that's fantastic from Huntsman, and it was a very good job from Savannah Kirkbride even to keep the ball up in the air, and the Lady Lancers here doing a really good job of keeping the ball in the air. Heikkinen doing superb to keep that in the air, and it's gone over the side of Northwest, and Northwest creating some errors for themselves, and that's a point for the Lancers.
Yeah, what a great point by our girls, and you know, not one spike in there. You know, it was just a matter of keeping the ball alive, a little pinball action, and just overcoming. And what a great play by Anne-Marie.
Tell you what, there was two there. The one by Anne-Marie Huntsman just down on this near side, pretty much sending herself into the bleachers. And then we had the one by Clara Heikkinen, which ended up being the winning hit back over. It's going to be a chance here for Eastern Wyoming, and Savannah Kirkbride kills the ball straight down. Thank you very much, and that's another point for the Lancers.
Yeah, that's great to see from Savannah come down the middle like that, and just again, just put it where nobody's going to be able to handle it.
Cannot understate how impressive the Lady Lancers have looked as soon as they do get into their system, as they look more confident. It'll nick off the top of that net, and that's a wayward. Oh, it's been given as a tip. I thought that was just a direct hit straight out of play, but given as a tip there.
You know, and it looks like it was the right call. You know, I wanted to disagree. Thought the ball went off the net and just kind of sailed out of bounds, but not one of our girls even reacted to it. So I'm sure we got a piece of it, and that's the right call.
I think I might need my prescription rechecked if I can see that. The set from Heikkinen here, hit down by Cantrell. Heikkinen to set again. And the hit from Stepic down the line, just read well by the Lady Trappers. Needs to get back over, and it's going to be a point for the Lancers, and it's a good reaction.
You know, and you know, Una really playing, you know, with her head right now. You know, a lot of IQ out there, and again, not trying to hammer things that she can't, and just putting the ball where it needs to go. Besides
that, we touched on this kind of earlier on in the season. Oh, that's a thunderous serve. And that's a great reception by Osmera. Equally so by the Lady Trappers. It's very much pinball here. And Savannah Kirkbride kills it down. And that was a hectic point, but one that the Lancers did really well to recover from.
You know, it really started with Olive with that pancake. You know, she just got her hand flat on the ground and the ball bounced off of it. And, you know, that got everything going. I think that got our girls excited and moving.
I was going to say about Stepic's serves as Northwest actually getting themselves out of the system here. Heikkinen back towards Cantrell.
Yeah, really nice back set.
Olive Osmer doing really well there.
Yeah,
just needs to get back over the net, and it does.
Yeah.
Just about by Cantrell, and it's going to be the point for the Lancers.
Yeah, Annika just snuck that one over, but again, she did what she had to. Didn't try to do too much for it. She's just trying to get it over, caught the top of the tape, and point to the Lancers.
Yeah, we touched on Stepich's serving throughout kind of the season so far. Really, it's been impressive in comparison to last year. She's been really adaptive, and even with her hits, she's been fantastic at kind of preempting whether she needs to just touch it over the net or whether she needs to go full blast.
Yeah, she is really a superb player. It'll be fun to see where she goes in her 4-year career.
That's a great dig by Stepich as well. The set by Hagen just a little bit behind Huntsman there, but nevertheless they managed to get it over the net. The block over by Savannah Kirkbride. Set from Hagen. Huntsman! That was played right in front of her, and that was a good hit, but also a good block. And from back court, Una Stepich with quite some hit, and not any objection by the Northwest players there.
No, really good play there by the Lancers. They got the ball to Una behind the 10-foot line, and she just put the hammer down.
Stepich with a little floater, and just as we were talking about, she is become formidable at that, and that is an ace for Una, and I think that could be her first ace of the evening. It is indeed.
Yeah, she has really gone on a run here from the serving standpoint.
Something so good to see when those services do end up working out, and Cantrell hitting it into the blocker, and that's the point. And 19-6, this is a very dominant showing here by the Lady Lancers.
Yeah, and having Annika on the right side with that, being a lefty, she can see the whole court, and a lot of stuff that she can do with the ball, and that one she just sort of forced through everybody, and great to see. She's going to have a great 4-year career as well.
And correct me if I'm wrong, she's going to Dakota State?
I believe she is going to Dakota State. I think she signed a couple weeks ago, and we couldn't be more proud of her, and we look forward to seeing where a lot of these other girls are going to end up going as well.
Certainly going to be interesting to see where the likes of Vladina Ristic, Una Stepich end up, as well as Clara Hayhinen. 4 players, as well as Annika Cantrell, who have been such an important part to this team. And Amory Huntsman is having quite the season herself, and I think it's going to be a very interesting thing to see where these girls go, and hopefully not being spread too far across the country, and they can keep in contact. But it's been a fantastic showing by them so far today.
It really has. Eastern Wyoming Athletic Department, our administration, town of Torrington couldn't be more proud of these girls, and all the kids that come through here, and we just love to follow them and see their successes later in life.
And Una Stepich is going to get this third set resumed. The dig there is handing it on a plate to not Annika. I keep getting them mixed up today. Amory Huntsman, and she is continuing her fantastic game today.
Yeah, great play by Amory. And again, so much of this goes back to your ability to receive in volleyball. And if you can't get it to your setters and the ball goes straight back over the net, that tends to be a problem for you.
Right, Stepich, a great serve by Stepich. And Northwest being caused all sorts of problems. Hayhinen, just unfortunate there, just a little bit behind Huntsman, and not a lot she could have done in terms of trying to, she tried to get it back over the net, but not quite enough.
Yeah, but a great run there by Una. I don't know how many she had in a row there, must have been 7.
Had to be somewhere in the region of 6 or 7. Serves. Savannah Cobra really tried to slam that, but that was blocked well at the net by Aidan Motorshaw. And Aidan Motorshaw has really kind of been one of the standout performers for Northwest so far.
Yeah, kind of their go-to girl for sure.
Hayhinen set. Slam down by Savannah Kirkbride. Up in the air though for Northwest, and that's a great reception by Olive Osmera, and just a bit of a wild hit by Huntsman takes it out of bounds.
Yeah, it seems like Savannah and Olive are really gaining some confidence this set, and it's really good to see. Both of them have made great plays, and just need to continue to do that. It's going to be very important down the stretch.
Certainly been important to see that by Olive Osmera. Maybe struggled in a couple of these home games that we've covered as of recent, and it's been nice to see that Osmera is starting to feel a little bit more comfortable in that libero role, and really slammed down there by Huntsman, and the reception not possible for Northwest when it's travelling that fast.
Yeah, it's not an easy role to step into. When you've got other liberos that have been in front of you, and then all of a sudden you're thrust into that situation where you not only need to make plays, but you've got to lead, and she's starting to feel more and more comfortable the way that this looks.
Especially for those that have remembered the likes of Bowden Iliadol, and even so much as this year as Vladimir Ristic, as Osma does put it into the net. They're two very big players for Eastern Wyoming over the last 2 years, and to fill those boots is a very hard task, but one that she's seeming to just slowly start to integrate herself more into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Set from Hagen, and really well done to keep that out of the net, and just touched over by Santi there. We saw her earlier in the game just not quite play that right, but she definitely played her cards right there.
Yeah, it was a tough one. She wasn't going to be able to get both hands to it. She used one hand to set it up, and Lana was able to put it away.
The serve from Hughes not quite causing some problems for Northwest, and they stayed in system well and capitalised on, I think, the first time in a while that we've seen Northwest actually in system.
Yeah, Alexandria Arnold seemed to come there and just tip the ball where there was nobody. We're a little slow getting to it.
Adrian Moshaw up to serve again. Huntsman with the dig. Hughes with the set. Huntsman with the hit, and it's powerful into the block, and it takes the Lancers to a 23-11 lead.
Yeah, big play there. 2 points away here, and you just got to keep battling. One serve at a time.
Serve from Huntsman, targeted towards the libero Arnold, and the Lancers have done a very good job of keeping this in play. Just needed to reset, and that's a good read there by Eliana Baumstark, just reading the game and seeing the empty space.
Yeah, Olive made a fantastic play on that ball just to keep it in play, so take that as a victory and move on.
Olive Osmer reaching for that one. Steppich just getting it back over, and really that was an awkward reception for Alexandria Arnold. Huff with the hit, and really one of the first mistakes we've seen out of Aidan Motoshaw tonight, but that was definitely an out ball, and just slightly nicked her hand on it.
Yeah, you know what the old saying.
And here we go. Vladimir Ristic is back into the court.
Big round of applause here.
Big round of applause for Vladimir. Let's see if she can ace this, and it's really nice to see how much the crowd are getting behind her here. And Brittany Huff there, her block just not quite able to block that, but
good strategy by Coach Hamilton. If you want to get her back in. You don't want her to have to move too much. Let her get in, get a serve, get her feet wet. Start building her back into the game.
Absolutely, and a pretty good serve it was as well. And Vladimir Ristic doing a very good job on and off the court. And the libero here, Charlotte Arnold, services out by Una Stepic there on the hit. This is okay for the Lady Lancers because they've got a lot of set points as they did in the second set.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just don't want to see it get away. You're up 24-14. You don't want to see this thing get to 24-19 or 24-20.
Serve from Arnold. The dig up by Stepic, and I feel like there's a bit of a miscommunication there just going on a little bit by the Lady Lancers there, and Brindley Huff with the block, and that is going to end that third set. 25-14, and as this game goes on, Coach, it seems as though they're becoming ever more comfortable and ever more happy in the position that they're in.
They are. They're getting to be a little bit more confident all the time, and looks like Savannah Kirkbride and Olive especially are just kind of finding their roles, kind of finding their swings, finding everything that they need to do. Olive's looking better in the back row, being able to receive and dig the ball and get it passed to the front, and if we can continue to do that, we're going to be a handful for Northwest.
Well, we're just going to take a quick break here, and we'll join you back as they begin the fourth. we're getting ready here to get this fourth set back underway. Coach Bill Engel has just, I think, popped off to the toilet, so it is just me for the moment. Nevertheless, I think that third set was a fantastic showing by the Lady Lancers, one that was necessary, one that was needed, and they will certainly be hoping to get this game finished in 4 sets. Well, time up in that break, and we are going to get ready to get going here. As Coach Bill Engel is going to start coming up the bleachers and will resume his seat as colour commentator. So on the court for the Lady Lancers right now, we have number 14, Lana Asante, number 2, Brynley Huff, number 9, Una Stepic, number 0, Olive Osmer, number 20, Amory Huntsman, and number 18, Ansetta Lola Hughes. As Motorshaw is going to get ready to get this fourth set underway, just taking a little bit of a nick there off of the net, but that's a fantastic set and kill by Lola Hughes and Alana Asante.
Again, good to see our girls get off to a fast start.
And Amory Huntsman up to serve. Down the line and just getting a little bit too left on it. It's the first service error that we've seen in a pretty long time, Coach.
Yeah, it looks like we put the ball in play an awful lot and kind of made Northwest deal with it.
Huntsman doing well to get this back up close towards the net. Stepic just getting it back over. Huntsman to Huff, out, and just a little bit long there by Brittany Huff. And the Lady Trappers take a 2-1 lead early in this fourth set.
You know, it's all a game of momentum, and you end up on a high, you just won a couple games in a row, and now you got to go back in, you got to start from 0.
Giving us in, and I don't think there's a lot of argument there between the Lady Lancers.
That was a tough ball. You know, she hit the ball extremely hard. You know, hard knuckle ball. It got a little rise to it, a little dip, and she decided to let it go and just caught the line.
That was also one of the interesting things when I went to WNTC the other day to watch the Lady Lancers. They obviously had a challenge feature and were able to kind of review those plays and stuff, and that's something that I haven't ever seen here. I'm not sure whether that's something that's available to the coaches here or whether it's just something that just Western Nebraska have or what, but because Coach used both of his challenges whilst there, he won one of them and he lost one of them.
Okay. And it sounds like what the rule for the NJCAA is going to be is that next year that it'll be mandatory that we can have reviews. So we're going to have to, we have 3 cameras right now, we're going to have to add 2 more cameras, and then we'll get some of those down the line views for volleyball.
Okay, fine. Just a net violation called on Savannah Kirkbride there. Arnold, that's a wayward serve and over the back, and it's going to gift the ball back to the Lancers, and it's 3-4.
And again, early on, just kind of regain your momentum here, one play at a time.
Clara Hayhinen from Bolas, Sweden, is going to get up to serve here for the Lady Lancers. Served kind of more towards centre court again. The hit there is not quite able to be stopped by Annika Cantrell or Savannah Kirkbride. It's going to be a kill for McKinley Scammon of the Lady Trappers.
Yeah, and again, our girls don't want to wait around for a 5th set here.
Riley Arnold to serve this in. The dig up from Stepic. Over to Savannah Kirkbride. Bit of a miscommunication there between Alexandra Arnold and Sheila Arnold. And it's going to give a point to the Lady Lancers.
And we got Una back to serve again, so usually that's an advantage for the Lancers.
Una Stepic's serve towards back left court. And a bit of a miscommunication there, and maybe a chance for the Lady Lancers to take advantage, and they do with a kill from Savannah Kirkbride.
And, another good job by the Lancers right in the middle of the court there. 1 deke and 1 hit, and that quick set, and really causes confusion.
What's been really nice to see so far in this game is the Lady Lancers have really been able to take advantage since that first set. been able to take advantage of when Northwest do get out of system. They managed to capitalise on that, and that's a hit that's gone a little bit wayward, by the Lady Trappers there. Stepic giving one of her floaters, and Arnold doing really well to keep that off the ground. Now can the Lady Lancers take advantage with Huntsman? That's a really good dig again by number 14, Riley Arnold. The set from Hayden and the back set to Cantrell, trying to go cross court. Not quite enough on it, and it is going to be a point for the Lady Trappers there, doing really well to get that hit back cross court as well.
You know, it's a good rally by both teams. Both teams had an opportunity, and that's kind of what you expect of a college volleyball team, or college volleyball game.
Scammon to serve, way out. That was out by a good 4 or 5 feet, I think.
Yeah, just a little bit too much on that, and good for us. Get a point, and can we build on it?
Olive Osmer to serve the Lady Lancers. Dig by Arnold. Quick set. Not quite enough to catch the Lady Lancers off guard though. And Una Stepic, his hit down was good. And that was just a little bit brushed from the Lady Trappers there, trying to catch the Lady Lancers off guard, but just putting a little bit too much on it.
Yeah, I tried to push it back into one of the corners, and just a little bit too long, but again, our girls did a nice job reading that.
Osmer's serve recepted really well. And the block there by Annika Cantrell. Annika Cantrell and Alana Asante have both been quite the force at the net.
Yeah, just
doing a really good job there.
Sounds like looks like we're a little bit stronger at the net, and just got to keep doing that. If we can get to the hitters, we're going to cause issues.
Osmer's served the quick set again by the Trappers, doing really well there. Anne-Marie Huntsman to keep that off the ground. And the set there going back over the net, and Huntsman again just trying to catch them off guard, and the block there is unfortunate. Just catching the wrong part of their arm, and Annika Cantrell and Alana Asante getting up really well, just not quite being able to pull off the block.
You know, it's one of those things where, hey, you did everything right, ball just went out of bounds, move on, and, you know, keep doing things right. You know, if you feel like you're swinging the club right, don't change anything.
Precisely that. And Eva Murray here with the serve. The slam down by Alana Asante. Quite the set there by Hayhinen as well.
Yeah, again, our girls in system look really good.
It's going to be Lola Hughes up to serve. Lola Hughes and Brindley Huff checking back into the game for Annika Cantrell and Clara Hayhinen. I think Hayhinen has had such a good game, as is a lot of these girls on the court right now. Anne-Marie Huntsman being one of them and showing exactly why she's had such a good game.
Yeah, another good set, another good hit, and another point for the Lancers.
And a timeout called by Coach Buck.
So another special announcement here about this raffle. So again, the Eastern Wyoming Booster Club is raffling off a quarter of beef, and each raffle ticket costs $25. There's going to be 4 winners drawn, so 4 quarters of beef. And you can come to the school, you can call, and we'll make sure that you get a raffle ticket, or you can get several raffle tickets. There's no limit to the number that you can buy. And you will win, or possibly win, a quarter of beef, which will, again, if we look at today's beef prices, that would be worth about $700 or $800. So please support Eastern Wyoming Athletics.
It must be noted as well that the beef has been donated by the EWC Rodeo Club. Very generous donation there by the Rodeo Club.
Absolutely, and a very special thank you to Whit Peterson and his rodeo team.
And that's gone out there by the Lady Trappers, and I think that's one of those that obviously the Lady Lancers didn't get a touch on the ball, but they did get the point after the timeout, and that's probably quite an important point to get, and maybe a little bit demoralising for Lady Trappers that they kind of didn't control what they could control there.
No, absolutely, and kind of see it here in the service.
They're out of system now. Brittany Huff with the hit. It was given as in, and the Lady Trappers do get the point back. And there is a lot of disagreement there by the Eastern Wyoming bench.
Yeah, it did not look like that ball was close. That ball looked like it was out by a good foot or so.
It did look out from our perspective up here. This is unfortunately where those reviews that we were talking about earlier would have been really helpful. But I think the officials there just looking towards the line judge, and the line judge did give it as in.
Yep. And she's got the best angle, and everybody else is in. Our down official here, Jackie Casey, maybe just didn't have a great angle on it. It is what it is, and you're still ahead by 4 points, and let's move on.
It's all about what are the Lancers going to do after bouncing back from a decision that maybe didn't go their way, but they need to brush that off and just get going again. Keep doing the things they've been doing so well so far today. As the service comes in, the dig up from Huntsman was good. The hit from Stepic, and the point has been given to the Lancers. Emery Huntsman is going to be up to serve this ball. A lot of space in that front right part of the court.
Sure is. Girls really paying far back for Northwest.
That's a great dig up by Lola Hughes to kind of keep that ball up in the air. The hit there is strong. Lola Hughes is going to recover this, and maybe Northwest are going to feel a little bit unfortunate that they didn't get the point there, but nevertheless the point still goes on, and they did well to interpret that, and Alana Stanley not quite being able to do enough to get it up off the ground.
No, our girls did a great job, never gave up the ball. Ball played off the basketball standard, came back down, and we gave ourselves a chance, which is all you can ask.
Dig from Osmera, the set from Hughes, and the slam down by Asante. The block wasn't quite good enough to avoid the point. It's going to be Alana Asante to serve. Savannah Kirkbride just checking out the game there for Alison Botters. Savannah having a really good game. I think she's had probably one of the best I think I've seen her in a Lancer shirt. The block there by Botters, just not quite enough, and gives the point back to the Lady Trappers. 14-10 the score.
Back and forth we go, and this is going to happen from time to time, but you got a 4-point lead here, and can you make 4-6, and then it goes back and forth a little bit, and then can you make 6-8 and kind of put this away?
So straight into the net there by Shiloh Arnold. And Annika Cantrell. Clara Hagenan checking back into the game for Lola Hughes and Brindley Huff. And all around it's been a pretty consistent, very solid performance from the Lady Lancers so far, as Clara Hagenan up to serve. Oh, just slightly mishits that.
Yeah, that one just kind of got away from her there. It looks like she almost tried to hit the ball on the side and create a little bit of curve on it and just got too much of the side.
Riley Arnold up to serve for the Lady Trappers. Dig from Huntsman. Hagenan to set, and that hit by Stepic. She had a really good idea there of trying to go cross court, and not quite enough on the block to get it back into the court, and it's a 15-12 lead now for the Lady Lancers.
Yeah, and you wonder now if one more point, Coach Hamilton will call a timeout.
Riley Arnold serving again. Dig by Stepic. So the set from Hagenan was to Stepic. This needs to get back over the net, and Hagenan doing really well now to get back into system. And the block there by Cantrell, not quite enough on it. 15-13 here, and doesn't look like Coach Hamilton's going to call his timeout.
Looks like he's going to let this roll, so hopefully our girls come through and reward his confidence.
The dig from Stepic, the set from Hagenan, and Stepic hitting that ball into an area where it was very awkward for the Lady Trappers to do anything, and it's given the point to the Lancers. 16-13.
It's kind of steady Eddie with Una. She's going to keep making the right play.
Stepic's serve into the net, and that's really the first service error that we've seen her make all day.
Yeah, you don't see too many of those from her, but again, she's got to move on. She's the leader on this team, and the girls will react to her, and how she reacts is very important.
Serve going towards Una Stepic. Heinonen to Bottas over and not quite enough on it, but now the Lady Lancers needs to do some good defending here. They do. The set from Heinonen, the slam down by Cantrell. Well recepted and wild by Alison Bottas. Not quite enough over it, and unfortunately just goes out of play, and it's 16-15 now.
Allison really went after and just hit it a little bit long.
Oh, just a little bit over the net. Just caught a lot of tape there and just fell on the side, and Coach Hamilton is now going to call his timeout.
Yeah, probably a good time for it, and that was a little bit of bad luck, and not much we can do about that, but it's not that point really why you take the timeout. It's 2 or 3 points before that.
Nevertheless, I mean, you look at the lead that maybe the Lady Lancers have given up, and if you're Coach Hamilton, what are you saying? I mean, so far, as a whole, really, the Lady Lancers have been staying in system very well, and when they have been in system, they've looked tremendous, and really, is it just a matter of keep doing what you're doing?
Yep, and just get back to being in system. I'm sure that's what the message was to these girls. Hey, just start by receiving well here. Get the ball passed, and let's do something good with it at the net.
McKinley Scammon is going to be the one to serve here for the Lady Trappers. This is going to be a very important few points for the Lady Lancers, and well, Scammon just putting it into the net and giving the ball straight back to the Lady Lancers here, and Alison Bottas has been checked out of the game. Going to be Alana Asante in her place.
Yeah, Alison did a nice job when she came in. Got her hands on a few balls up front, and just had the one that sailed on her. That was about it.
And slammed down by Asante, kill. And now the Lady Lancers have opened up that 2-point gap again.
Yep, nice job there. They took advantage of the mistake, and that's what you need to do.
Olive serve, the reception there, slammed straight into the Lady Trapper there. Heinonen doing well to dig it. Lancers just need to get this back over and then get themselves into system. Annika Cantrell up to block. Heinonen doing really well to get to the ball again, and again it's just a little bit of pinball, and it is going to be a point for the Lancers. I definitely wasn't looking at what that might have been.
I never saw what the call was. The ball seemed to obviously be in, but there must have been a call at the net.
Yeah, I think it was it must have been a net call more than anything. Just something on the side of the court there that the referee spotted and wanted to get out of the way. As Olive Osmer gets set to serve again. 19-16 to the Lancers, and that is out by a good foot.
Yeah, just a little bit too much on again. She's done a really good job and seems to be getting more and more comfortable in the back row, and we look forward to seeing her progress as we keep moving on.
Eva Murray to serve for the Lady Trappers. Dug up by Stepic. The set from Heinonen, and just a little bit too much on it by Anne-Marie Huntsman. That lead again, just taking a little bit of a hit to 19-18.
Well, let's see if we can get to, like you said, that magic 20 first.
Dug up by Huntsman. The set from Heinonen. Huntsman doing well to get on it, and that was just a bit of a mishap there by Eliana Baumstark.
Yeah, she looks like she's got a little bit of a knee issue, but they play her in the middle just for her size. She's a big girl, and I'm sure she's really fighting through that knee injury.
Oh, and Baumstark just getting in the way there of number 14, Riley Arnold, and I think that's just one of those instances of again where she looked very immobile on that knee and is just trying to nurse herself through that injury.
Yep. For our listeners out there, if you take a look at her, she's got her knee wrapped up, and it looks like some pretty heavy-duty tape from kind of mid-thigh all the way down to mid-calf, and she's obviously trying to get through a knee injury, and she must be 6'2". I mean, she's a big, long, athletic-looking girl, and I'm sure they need her at the front of the net, but sometimes you're not that mobile out there, and you got to get out of the way. It's a little bit difficult.
Yeah, she certainly looks like she's struggling to put some weight on that knee. It's going to be Kylie Honstein who's going to check into the game here for Brindley Huff.
Yeah, good to see Kylie come into the game and have an opportunity here, up 21-18, and see what our girls can do. Looks like we just had to follow protocol there to get our substitution done.
Going to be Lola Hughes up to serve for the Lady Lancers. 21-18. A few more points hopefully, and the Lady Lancers would have seen this game out. Lola Hughes up, and Amory Huntsman straight into the blocker, and it's 22-18. Lancers again looking comfortable and looking like they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they can sort of smell victory here, but don't get too far ahead of yourselves. It's only 4 points right now.
Lola Hughes to serve, kind of goes to centre court, and that is a reception error for Arnold, the libero. Just one step closer.
Yep, 23-18. Let's see if Lola can keep this going. Great serve.
It's a fantastic serve, but really well dug up, and it's going to be another point for the Lancers, and it takes them to game point.
24-18. Great job by Lola. Let's see if she can finish this off.
And we are going to finish off, I think, with an all sophomore lineup on the court.
Yep.
Addison Rollins and Rachel Macy checking into the game. Lola Hughes with the serve. The hit, and it's well dug up by Lola Hughes.
Nice play by Addison.
Great play by Addison, and Kylie Honstein gets the kill, and that is the game for the Lady Lancers.
Really a big win. We're going to have to take a look at the standings, see where that leaves us, but I believe we're going to have at least a 1, if not a 2-game lead on Gillette. Moving forward here, we've got NJC on Monday, which is going to be a non-division game, and then I believe we've got to go up to Gillette. And if we have a 2-game lead going into fourth place, going up to Gillette, we've obviously got that sealed. If it's a 1-game lead, then we're going to have to go up there and win to get 4th place, or we'll end up tied for 4th. But congratulations to our girls. Great night after we got through that first set.
Yeah, fantastic display, especially from a lot of the sophomores. I think some of the honourable mentions there were Amory Huntsman. She had a fantastic game. Kylie Honstein there just getting the last kill. It's probably one of the first times that we've seen her on court, and instantly coming on and making an impact is a fantastic thing for her.
Oh, absolutely, and just love to see the big crowd here cheering the girls on sophomore night, and just an exciting day to be in Torrington.
Well, join back with us in a little bit, where we will be interviewing hopefully Coach George Hamilton and some of the sophomores on what will be one of their last home games of the season. Thank you very much for joining us in. Thank you very much, Coach.
Jamie, thank you very much, and good luck to you the rest of the way. I know we'll see you on Monday. I know you're going to probably go out and swing the clubs a little bit either today or tomorrow, and you guys go get ready for getting to Newton.
Yes, exactly that. Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely. You guys take care.
Wyoming, where hard-working hands build incredible things.
Built this thing from the ground up out of nothing. Gave it everything. Now look at what it's given back.
We know you put your heart into your business because that's what Wyomingites do. As a local bank, we put our hearts into helping you because we're not just a bank in Wyoming. We're Wyoming in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be.
Charging into your future as a Lancer is about meaningful relationships, learning at the crossroads of history and innovation, championing one another's success, and empowering every student to achieve their dreams. We are a community that knows one another by name, offers the quality education needed to get the most out of life, and the friendships that support us throughout the journey. We hold tight to a legacy of pioneering, knowing that by honoring our values, we can charge into our futures together and become the purpose-minded people that change the world. Becoming a Lancer is about more than academics. It's about discovering your passion and feeling at home.
Oh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, after this post-game reaction after our 3-1 win over Northwest College. Coach, just give your insight on the game and how did that go from your perspective?
Like I say, after kind of a slow start and everything, we started, playing much better and everything. It was a little frustrating early on, the first two sets and everything. A lot of people are pointing fingers instead of taking responsibility, and I really had to drive in, hey, we're not about any individuals, we're about the team. And they came out, right after that, really, playing as a team much better and made a great response to that and everything. And so I think that was huge for us. I mean, we tried to do everything we could. I thought it was only fitting that, Kylie, who's been a walk-on great hard worker for us all the time, got the final kill and everything, because, she hasn't got very much playing time, but she's behind two really super good players. And if she's at a lot of other schools, she would be playing. And so I was super happy that she was able to get that final kill.
And just kind of touch on that, about that whole team mentality. I mean, certainly throughout parts of that second set, the third set and the fourth set, when the girls looked in system, my God, did they look good. And,
Right.
How important is that kind of going forwards to, looking at Northeastern kind of as your next game and then Casper and Gillette beyond that? How important is that going to be to keep that kind of mentality in your team?
Yeah, it's like I was telling them, when we're in system and everything, I don't see hardly any team that can really play with this and everything. We have the great hitters, we have the great blockers, we have the speed and everything. It's just a matter of us really concentrating and getting the ball control. So we really started getting the good ball control, especially that second and third set and everything. And once we started getting that ball control, then, like I say, it was really, our offense really got going, which was really successful for us.
And, looking forward towards Monday now and Northeastern, obviously you're now 5-5, which is lovely. After the loss last night against Central, obviously you needed a bounce back and you certainly got that. So how important is it going to be kind of looking at Northeastern to try and get as good of a result as we can?
With them and everything, it's like I said, we'd love to beat them and everything, but the most important thing is if we need to rest players or whatever for the weekend and everything, we will, and that because we're going to try to adjust everything that way. But because, like I say, our most important goal right now is just getting into the regional tournament. And like I say, as much as we would want to go out and beat them, getting healthy for the regional tournament is our main concern. And then, of course, with that, Saturday is the big match that we absolutely have to win.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming up here and giving us a bit of insight. We're going to have Anne-Marie Huntsman and Rachel Macy up here in a minute, so check in with us in a second.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So you now join me here with Anne-Marie Huntsman after the game. Anne-Marie, just give us your thoughts on the game.
I think I think we did pick it up there after the first set. The first set was a little rough. I think it was very up and down, but I'm glad we were able to pull through.
I think what we would call it in British is topsy-turvy.
Oh, yeah.
Very topsy-turvy.
A little bit bipolar there.
Yeah, exactly. But, how important is it, when you do have sets like that in that first set, when you're not kind of playing your best, to then come out in that second set and to then, beat Northwestern. Do I have the score? Yeah. You beat them 25-18 in that second set, and then that third set 25-14. How important is that response?
I think it is important because it shows we can bounce back from a loss. We took a loss in the first set by, a couple points.
Yeah, so you lost 25-17 in that first set.
So I think being able to bounce back from that and just let go of all the stupid mistakes we made and, kind of fix our attitudes a little bit really did make a difference. So we were able to pull through the last couple.
And I was going to say, that was kind of been one thing that, certainly looking at the Central game yesterday, 60 total errors on the game was a killer.
Yes.
But tonight, certainly not as much. I haven't done the maths yet, I must admit, but certainly not as many as last night. So just kind of run me through, keeping those errors off the stat sheet. How important is that?
Definitely really important. I think a lot of the time, or at least some of the time, there are some stupid little mistakes we make, whether it's we don't know whose ball it is, or lack of communication or whatnot, stuff like that, or I think mainly lack of communication and trust sometimes happens on the court, but I think most of the time we are able to fix it a little bit and talk to each other.
And certainly when you guys did look like you were getting into your system again, you looked very good, you looked very kind of in sync. Yeah. So kind of looking forward now towards the rest of the season, obviously 3 games left. You're going to want to get as much as you can out of that, but in that you've got Northeastern, you've got Casper, and you've got Gillette. Gillette kind of being the main one that I think you guys want to beat to try and solidify fourth place for you.
We have to beat Gillette.
So just kind of run me through what does the next 3 games look like for you?
So NJC, I believe, is ranked 4th in the nation, so it'll be, I'm sure we can hang with them as long as we come to play. We can't play like we did in the first set if we want to hang with them at all. But we did play them a couple times last year. They're pretty good. We've lost every time. But a lot of the times we hang with them during the sets, and then some sets are worse than others, But so that game will be a really tough game for us, but good for us. And then Casper, we also did lose to them the first time we played them. But I think we also can hang with them and go to 5, win or lose. But that'll be definitely a competitive game for us as well. And then Gillette, we beat them in 5 at home last time. I think we definitely can sweep them, so that's going to be the goal for Gillette.
Well, Anne-Marie, thank you so much. And again, well done today. You played really well.
Thank you.
Head up and let's keep going for the next 3 games.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we're going to have Rachel Macy join us up here in the commentary booth. She's just going to get the headset on and all ready. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Perfect. So Rachel, good game, well played. Just run us through from your perspective, how did that game go?
I think it went really well. I think the first set was a little difficult. I think it's definitely a little rough day because it's a sophomore night. But we really pulled together the second and third and fourth set because we really wanted to win this game, and we knew we had to go to regionals.
And looking at this game, it looked clear that you ended up getting into your groove kind of later on in the game anyway. But that first set, I said to Ams, how important was it to kind of get back from that? And I'm going to ask the same question to you. How important was it to show that mentality?
To really learn from everyone, everyone's mistakes, and that we weren't working together, but we finally got the groove and got, just working together and everything.
And kind of looking forward towards the next few games. Obviously, we've got NJC at home, and then that's your final home game. And then we've got Casper away and Gillette away. What do those games look like for you?
They're looking a little tougher than today, but I think we're really determined, and we are getting our mindset really together, and I think we're ready for it.
Perfect. Well, Rachel, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate you coming up here.
Appreciate it.
So that has been our coverage of the EWC Lady Lancers versus the Northwest College Lady Trappers. I've been Jamie Lambert. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you on Monday night for our game against Northeast College. Thank you very much for tuning in.